The other thing from the event that I should mention, surprisingly, this secondary vehicle has been getting a lot of attention. This electric ATV, which they're also calling it has its own Cyberquad. And of course, it's one of these recreation type of vehicles. You go out, you explore on one of these things. Usually they're gas powered. This one, obviously electric. And towards the end of the presentation, this thing rolls out and it rolls perfectly into the bed or vault of the Cybertruck, at which point it's also plugged in to the Cybertruck's battery system in order to charge itself. So it can charge from the truck, so it's always got to charge. Very nice and convenient. And so people had a lot of questions about this Cyberquad. Was it an independent launch? Is it an accessory to the truck? Once I'm able to configure the truck, is this an add-on item? How much will it cost? A lot of questions about that. So Elon actually responded in a tweet to a user who had those questions. And he said, Tesla 2-person electric ATV. So he's not calling it Cyberquad, though he probably will after hearing the phrase. Tesla 2-person electric ATV will come at first as an option for Cybertruck. So it's not going to be offered independently. Instead, it will be an accessory for the Cybertruck. And you know what that leads me to imagine now, Will? Not just a Cybertruck sitting in gridlock traffic on the DVP, but a Cybertruck sitting in gridlock traffic on the DVP with a Cyberquad in the back. How's that for a vision of the future? How many people are going to have quads now that never imagined owning one? Yeah. Like Kirk's going to have a quad now. He doesn't even know where to take it. He doesn't know what he's doing with it. Lives in the city. But he's got a quad. He owns a quad. It sits in the back of his Cybertruck. Everyone's into quads now. But weirdly enough, as a side effect, it's kind of a cool thing because those type of recreation vehicles aim to get you outside, aim to get you exploring. Much like the original idea we had where this thing sort of looks like a moon rover. That's the mini rover.
Yes.
We're turning the world into the moon.
Yes.
Sort of, but it's better than the moon. There's more going on here than the moon. Mars, maybe.
Yeah.
Would be a little bit more aspirational. So the truck has this interesting air suspension on it, the Cybertruck. And what I noticed that was cool about the presentation, again, because I own a truck, I load things in the back of the truck, was how low the rear end was able to get to load up the ATV and not the front end. So it actually created a ramp just using the air suspension. And then they pulled out the actual mechanical ramp. They slid it out from the tailgate, but it created far less of an angle to go up to load things than you would have without the air suspension. So you can see the angle of it there. The tail end can come down quite a bit. Now, the entire truck is capable of lowering with this air suspension for greater aerodynamics and efficiency. And then, of course, it can also go up at lower speeds for clearing certain objects or doing off-roading or something like that, which is I guess what you would do, especially if you had the Cyberquad. You'd be going off-road, you'd be taking the quad out and having yourself a time, which is apparently what Kirk is going to be doing now. So anyhow, we don't have any prices yet, and you won't be able to buy it independently. It will only be an option when you're eventually able to configure your Cybertruck. But again, we're still stuck because we're going to have to wait until 2022 or whenever it happens to be, which is a bit unfortunate. Maybe we'll get to give it a try before
Sneak
that.
peek.
Yeah, Willie do you finesse a couple emails, and all of a sudden I'm rolling around. All of a sudden I'm rolling around in a Cybertruck.
I'll talk to Musk.
Or maybe not the
See what he's up
Cybertruck,
to.
but maybe we just get on the Cyberquad.
The quads.
Yeah. So the electrical outlets on board the Cybertruck are 110 volt and 220 volts. So if you plug this into the 220, it's actually probably going to charge pretty quickly. Just to round out some specifications, by the way, if you just head over to that tri-motor, that's the most exciting one. To me, as far as the truck's concerned, The ground clearance that I was mentioning earlier, up to 16 inches. So that's substantial if you're into trucks. They also have the approach angle at 35 degrees and the departure angle at 28 degrees. So it's going to be a valid option for off-roady ATV type people. Very interesting.